When Ben Potter's team reached the bottom of the fire pit in central Alaska, they knew they had found something extraordinary. They had found two infants, buried together 11,500 years ago. One had died shortly after birth, about 6 weeks old. The other was a late-term fetus, likely stillborn. The local indigenous community named them Sunrise Child Girl and Dawn Twilight Child Girl. This was not a simple burial. The infants were covered in red ochre. 4 decorated antler rods surrounded them, along with stone dart points, hunting tools that would have been incredibly precious to a survivalist culture. This was ceremony. This was grief. Potter, an anthropologist at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, sent bone samples for DNA analysis, expecting to find genetic signatures matching northern Native Americans. What came back in 2018 shocked everyone. "We didn't know this population existed," Potter said. The DNA revealed an entirely new group of people. They were not ancestors of modern Native Americans, and they were not related to any known tribe. This was a ghost lineage that had split from all other Native Americans 20,000 years ago, persisted in isolation for thousands of years, and then mysteriously vanished. Scientists called them the Ancient Beringians. Their discovery rewrote everything we thought we knew about how humans first reached the Americas. The story begins 36,000 years ago in East Asia. A population split from its Asian ancestors and began moving north. Around 25,000 years ago, they became completely isolated, cut off genetically from the rest of humanity. Where did they go? Beringia. During the last glacial maximum, massive glaciers locked away so much ocean water that sea levels dropped 120 meters. A land bridge emerged connecting Siberia to Alaska. This was not a narrow crossing. It was a subcontinent over 1,000 miles wide, a vast steppe tundra landscape teeming with mammoths, horses, bison, and ground sloths the size of elephants. Somewhere in that frozen wilderness, a small population of humans carved out an existence. They stayed there for thousands of years. Geneticists call this the Beringian standstill, a population isolated long enough to become a genetic incubator where distinct mutations accumulated. These markers would permanently distinguish Native Americans from their Asian ancestors. Then, around 20,000 years ago, something changed. The population split. One group headed south, moving through ice-free corridors or along the Pacific coast, spreading rapidly across the Americas. They became the ancestors of every Native American population from the Arctic to Tierra del Fuego. The other group stayed behind, the Ancient Beringians. For the next 8,500 years, they remained in Alaska's interior, isolated, distinct, and separate, a branch of humanity that chose the far north, while their relatives colonized 2 continents. 2 infants at Upward Sun River offer a rare glimpse into this lost world. DNA analysis showed they came from different mothers. One carried mitochondrial lineage C1b, the other carried B2. They were likely half-siblings or first cousins, yet they were buried together with ceremony. Finding 2 infants with different mothers suggests something profound about ancient Beringian society: communal care, deep emotional bonds, and sophisticated mortuary practices even for the youngest members. 40 centimeters above the infant burial, Potter's team had previously found the cremated remains of a 3-year-old child, burned inside a central hearth before the camp was abandoned. 3 children, different times, different treatment, all pointing to a community that honored its dead with ritual and meaning. One question haunted Potter: where did they go? DNA from a 9,000-year-old tooth found at Trail Creek Cave, 750 kilometers away, matched the ancient Beringian genetic signature. They had persisted and spread across Alaska's interior. They developed their own distinct culture, the Denali complex, known for microblades and advanced stone technology. After 9,000 years, the genetic trail went cold. Potter said that they do not know. He added that it is possible incoming Athabascan ancestors replaced or absorbed the ancient Beringians. The DNA suggests a back migration. Around 6,000 years ago, northern Native Americans, descendants of those who had spread south, moved back into Alaska. They either absorbed the ancient Beringians through intermarriage or replaced them entirely. Either way, the ancient Beringians ceased to exist as a distinct population. For 14,000 years, they survived in one of Earth's harshest environments. They built their own culture, tools, and way of life. And then they were gone, leaving behind only 2 infants in a burial pit and a single tooth in a cave. They vanished without conquest or catastrophe, just time and genetics. But the story does not end there. In April 2024, a team led by Dorothy First Ryder of the Blackfoot Confederacy published a study revealing another ancient lineage. It split from other Native Americans even earlier than the ancient Beringians, around 18,000 years ago. Unlike the ancient Beringians, this lineage survived. Modern Blackfoot people are its direct descendants. The Blackfoot Confederacy includes 4 nations spanning Montana and southern Alberta: the Blackfeet, Kainai, Piikani, and Siksika. For decades, anthropologists argued they were late arrivals to the High Plains. Linguistic evidence linked them to Algonquin speakers from the Great Lakes, suggesting a recent migration west. The Blackfoot never accepted that story. Their oral traditions spoke of origins in the Rocky Mountain front, of ancestors who had lived there since time immemorial. The DNA proved them right. Ripan Malhi, a geneticist at the University of Illinois, called the discovery very surprising. The Blackfoot genome did not fit any known lineage. It showed 18,000 years of genetic continuity through ice ages, climate shifts, colonization, and forced relocation. Modeling revealed 3 ancient branches emerging from Beringia: the Ancient Beringians, the Blackfoot lineage, and the ancestors of all other Native Americans. Gary Hall of the Blackfeet Tribal Historic Preservation Office said, "This confirms what we already knew, and now we can use new science to fight old science." The timing mattered. In 2023, after 40 years of legal battles, the Blackfoot Confederacy secured permanent protection for the Badger II Medicine Area, 130,000 acres of sacred land in Montana's Rocky Mountain front. DNA evidence showing 18,000 years of continuous occupation forced the final settlement. Solanex accepted $2.6 million and relinquished its lease. The last threat to drill on Blackfoot creation ground disappeared. The DNA gave the Blackfoot proof of deep time, not 500 years, not 2,000 years, 18,000 years. These discoveries force us to rethink the peopling of the Americas. It was not one wave or two, it was a branching tree. Sunrise, Child Girl, and Dawn, Twilight Child Girl represent the path that vanished. The Blackfoot represent the path that endured. Both stories began in Beringia, 20,000 years ago, on a land bridge that no longer exists. Both stories are ancient, both are human. This is Strata Files.